A baby born in Dallas Wednesday is now at the center of a bitter dispute between the surrogate who gave birth and the couple who intended to raise the child. The surrogate traveled from Texas from Alaska, seeking legal protection, claiming that the couple pressured her to end the pregnancy after doctors discovered a life-threatening heart defect. The intended parents strongly deny that claim. Fox 4's Sean Rabb live in the newsroom with the rest of the story.
Yeah,
hi, Sean.
A national story that has Dallas hospitals, courtrooms, and the state attorney general right in the middle of it. The surrogate, McKenna West, came to Texas probably for a number of reasons, including the state's very strict abortion laws. But the California couple who paid her to carry their baby have publicly said they did not try to force West to terminate the pregnancy. And the Dallas judge has issued a temporary restraining order that stops the surrogate from having any say over the baby right now. McKenna West is the woman who you see here who moved from Alaska to Dallas to give birth as a surrogate to a Los Angeles couple. West has said the couple tried to force her to abort the pregnancy after a serious heart defect was discovered in the fetus at 20 weeks. Reports indicate, though, the family denied that and said West initially agreed with terminating the pregnancy. Amid the dispute, West came to Texas to seek treatment for the fetus. Children's Medical Center and UT Southwestern in Dallas, both receiving a letter from the Attorney General reminding them of their legal obligation to provide medical care to the child. A Dallas family law judge has ruled the surrogate who gave birth Wednesday in Dallas to the baby called baby Gabriel cannot make any decisions about the child's medical care. Rachel Ribochet is G. Riley White Chair in Law at the UT Austin School of Law. She tells me these kind of fights with the surrogate don't happen often.
Most surrogacy contracts deal with the possibility of fetal anomaly, the question of whether or not to terminate a pregnancy, or even if a pregnancy terminates involuntarily in the case of miscarriage or the like. And we have seen cases where surrogates have not wanted to terminate a pregnancy, have felt pressure to do so, and have moved to places where they thought there may be more a legal framework or a culture that would support that choice. It's rare, but it has happened.
Now, in a statement to Fox 4, the intended parents, Dallas lawyer says, look, if the heartbreak of his condition were not enough, they are devastated to see their family tragedy transformed into political theater by the Texas Attorney General's office and McKenna West. Our client's only focus at this time is ensuring that their baby receives the medical care that he vitally needs. In contrast, the group representing McKenna West in their statement tell us it's an honor and privilege to represent McKenna in her courageous stand for baby Gabriel's life. Every life matters. No woman should be forced to kill the baby she's carrying. Adding, we are thrilled that the court's order all calls for baby Gabriel to receive the surgery necessary to save his life. Now, both sides, as you can tell, claiming victory, and the attorney for the intended parents criticizing Attorney General Ken Paxton, the group supporting surrogate McKenna West calling Paxton patriotic. And nothing settled yet. There is another hearing happening in family court here in Dallas, August 25th.
And Sean, speaking of that hearing, do we know what is exactly expected to happen at the end of the month in court?
Well, that picture hasn't come into full view yet, but bound to include at least 3 issues. I think there's going to be a review of whether the hospitals are continuing to carry out the treatment plan for the child's heart condition. You know what? 3 states are now involved in this parental rights and decision-making about the child. Texas, where the baby was born, the surrogate's home state, Alaska, and the couple and California laws. And then who gets custody, whether the child leaves Texas, and for the person or persons who don't get custody, will there be visitation? All of that and perhaps more to be parsed out in court.